All right, ladies, gentlemen, gamers, welcome back. Welcome back to another fantabulous, awesome, amazing day. I'm lying, it was actually a terrible day. But we have a lot to do today. We have a lot to do with very, very little time. I'm hoping to get some sleep tonight. Some at all. Any would be nice. Although I don't know if that's the case. For like the past 5 days I've been ultra busy. But that's okay, because today it's actually stuff I want to be busy with. So we're going to start with patch notes. Then after that we might play some Fortnite. We might not. And then immediately after that we might play, or we will play, Risk of Rain 2 DLC, which has dropped. I'm excited. I'm happy. Now, for those of you watching this on YouTube, that means nothing. For those of you watching on stream, which is currently no one, it is something to look forward to. But anyway, let's begin. I don't want to take too long, so hopefully this is short, and I got to get through it quick, because I also have my din-din here, and I don't want it to cool down. But anyway, patch 12.5, and it's patch 12.5, believe it. God, if there's one thing that's for certain, it's that the league patches will still come out. This time around, we'll be doing a relatively light patch, thank God. There will be, oh my God, it's the B patch, some nerfs to stronger champions like Ahri and Gwen. Ahri is not strong, Gwen I don't think is strong. While some champions like Samira and Seraphine, I think Samira is okay, I think Seraphine is kind of whatever, will be getting some buffs. We're also taking some of the sting out of Hullbreaker's power for ranged champions, lovely. And most important, B, where we also have some additions to the B skin line. Oh, lovely. More stuff I could get annoyed about. I actually think the B skin line is really fucking good. I just don't want to get B-Maw. Fucking people always tell me to get B-Maw, and I just don't want to get B-Maw. But every other B skin is actually really fucking good. It's surprising. Oh my god, we need to go over the skins next patch. The next patch skins, the fucking anime kitty animal ones, the furry ones, basically anime furry, those are going to be interesting. But anyway, that's next patch. That's in like 2 weeks. If I'm still alive then. But we'll see. Anyway, as a heads up, patch 12.5 will be live for 1 month, with 12.6 going out March 30th. Wait, what? Oh my god. Wait, so we have a whole month until the next patch. Holy shit. We'll still be keeping an eye out for any urgent issues that may pop up. But I have a bad case of apiphobia. Okay, I don't care what that is. Alright. We'll go over the skins at the end, but they're pretty fucking good. Anyway, champions. Starting off with Ahri. Everyone's saying Ahri's OP. I don't think she's OP. I think she's definitely better than she was, because she has more mobility. Mobility in general in League is really good. Ahri is always the catch-out champion. I feel like even before Ahri's job stayed the same, she didn't do as much damage. She was mostly for catch-out. The only thing that really changed was her mobility and her healing, which both got better and more consistent. However, I don't think Ahri's OP. I don't think they should go too crazy on the nerfs, because Ahri does not do a lot of damage. But let's see what's happening. While we're happy that players are charmed by Ahri's refresh, she's been a little too strong since we're pulling some power out of her early game to reduce her overall strength. Okay. I think this is fair. They're reducing the W damage by a little bit early, which is okay. I didn't think the W was too consistent. And they're upping the mana cost of the W and E. I honestly think this does kind of nothing, because I don't feel like champions are very much mana starved except for extremely early in the game. So I think this is fine. I think this does kind of nothing. Gwen. I think Gwen was really strong for a lot of time. Then she became weak because they nerfed her little early cheese. And she doesn't scale fast enough, and she kind of just gets bullied in lane. If you could scale up as Gwen, you'll be an animal. The problem is she has trouble scaling. So I'm assuming they're going to buff her early game here, hopefully. But let's see. Passive damage against monsters decreased. E-bonus attack range decreased. Wait, what? Oh yeah, they're nerfing her. I still think she's weak. Oh my god, Hunter, what the fuck? I still think she's decently weak. I think the laning part is like the hardest part of her. I think if you get through laning though, she's like an animal. But let's see. Gwen has been shredding up top and jungle in pro play. Okay, so it's pro play. Alright. So we're sniping off some of her power so her weaknesses are more apparent and her strengths as a flex pick is reduced. Have they been going her jungle? That's disgusting. They're massively... Well, not massively, but they're decently nerfing the passive against jungle, so they do not want her getting a good jungle clear. And they're nerfing the range of E by half, which I actually think it is a huge nerf. Halving the range of E gave you a lot of range in general, right? Halving that is really going to hurt her laning. I don't know if they should go so OD. I don't feel like Gwen is good in anywhere but pro play, personally. I gotta sing that new song as the patch notes intro. I'm good. I don't even know what that song is. And I can't even sing that. In fact, you putting that in chat almost was bad enough because it's something in there, but we're not going to talk about that. Kennen. I think Kennen is still weak. I think teamfight champions like Rumble and Kennen are going to continue to get buffed until they are seen. However, I'll make it fully transparent. I don't pay attention to pro play, so I don't know if they're actually being played where it kind of matters, which is pro play. So let's see what they're doing. I'm expecting to see a buff, though. Kennen hasn't had much presence in top lane, so we're giving him small buffs again. They're like shadow buffing Kennen over and over again. Basic attack bonus damage at max stacks is going up by 15. That's actually a really good amount. Holy shit. For the level 1 and it scales harder? Oh man, and it's 10% AP, 15 bonus AD. Damn, yo. Holy shit. Okay, this is pretty good. Decent change for his laning, which I think is what needs to be changed about him. That's pretty good. Oh, let's talk about this. I already know what this is, as long as it's the same as what I saw. This is actually super interesting. So for the longest time, right, this is what happened with Yi. Yi used to be, before the whole item bullshit rework, he used to be on-hit hybrid tank. You could still go that after the whole item rework last year, but what ended up happening was he also transitioned to lethality builds, which I really didn't like. I played them. I could see a reason for them if the enemy team wasn't tanky. It was fun. Lethality crit. It was okay. But I'm an OG enjoyer of the on-hit half hybrid tanky. I like that more, especially with the new lethal. So basically, to sum it up shortly, they're putting Yi back to that thing. Q damage and bonus crit damage decrease. So his Q will hurt less with crit. Each mark now applies on-hit effects, which is crazy. And the on-hit cooldown reduction now scales with ability haste. Now, my big concern is if they nerfed it at a baseline and now you have to get back to the normal amount with ability haste, but we'll see. E and R now pause during his Q, which is amazing, and can now both be activated during Q. Insane. E base damage decreased late, which doesn't matter. Honestly, with the amount of on-hit you're going to be doing, it doesn't matter. Master Yi's Duskblade builds have been a bit strong recently. No, they haven't. But more importantly, are both frustrating to play against and unhealthy for gameplay. Yeah, because there's not really any counterplay if you get one shot. They actually prefer on-hit Yi because you don't get one shot. If you get one shot by Yi, there's not much you could do, except maybe Zanya's, and that's it. By decreasing his Q synergy with lethality and ability haste and instead adding on-hit scaling so the Wuju Bladesman is forced to show himself while fighting, which is exactly what they want, which is what I just said. So let's see how bad they're doing this. So the Q base damage is going up a little bit, down later, reduced by 75%, which is fine. It gets less bonus damage from crits, but it still gets bonus damage. They're only reducing it by 10, which is fine. Each mark of the Q now applies on-hit effects, including his E. On-hit effects from subsequent hits are also reduced by 75%. But yo, that is insane. It applies the E as well. This is insanely crazy. Alpha Strike's cooldown reduction upon attacks now scales down with ability haste. For example, if Mastery is 100 ability haste, each on-hit now reduces its cooldown by 0.5 seconds instead of 1. So if you build lethality, your Q isn't going to be up as much, which is actually crazy. I never heard of a ability counter scaling. I think this is the first ability in League that I can really put on the top of my head that counter productively scales with something. Holy shit. Alpha Strike's cast time no longer counts against his E and R. Highlight on active duration similar to W Meditate. Insane. Master Yi can activate E and R during his Q. Insane. So basically you could queue it up. So you don't have to do it right when you exit. It could just be ready the second it's able to. Insane. And then the E true damage is going down by 8, which is fine because that adds up because you're doing on-hit attack speed anyway. This is great. Honestly, I think E's going to be really fucking good. I think E, on-hit at least, is going to be leagues better than it was before. And even if you don't build on-hit, the Q and the E and the R change for the Q are like an insane. I don't know if they're calling it bug fix. They're calling it an update. Thank God. But yo, Yi's scary. Yi's actually scary. Insane change. Okay, so I think MF, just because I know she's getting a legendary skin next patch, which we'll talk about next patch, is probably going to get buffed. So let's see. We're giving more Misfortune a quality of life update. So she's basically getting the Quinn treatment. Off spawn, she's getting the move speed. Nice. Oh, Samira. Okay, so I think they've been shadow buffing Samira too. I think Samira's in an okay spot. I think if you have a CC support that you are talking with or have good synergy with, Samira does really good, and she's one of the few ADs. I count her as like the better Draven, the more safe Draven. Because if she gets going, or even if she doesn't, late game she actually scales like an animal just because her ult can crit. Like late game, all you need, it's similar to a Blitz Q, right? With a Blitz Q, you just need one Blitz Q to win the game. Samira, it's not as easy. With Samira, you need one good team fight, but if you get one good team fight on Samira, she could wipe everyone. Like, she's actually that good. And the fact that they're buffing her more is insane. But let's see what they're doing. For a Thrill Seeker, the Desert Rose, that fucking nickname is so hot, hasn't been very daring recently. We're ramping up her durability over time so she can be more comfortable, stack her style in big late game team fights before getting focused down. I mean, I actually don't agree with this. I think it's fine to be a little squishy on Samira, just because it's like a risk versus reward thing, and you build so much lifesteal in general, they have to basically one-shot you or else you're going to lifesteal through all the damage. So, I don't necessarily agree with this, but hey, buffs are buffs, and I like Samira, so let's see it. Health growth is going up, so she's gaining like 100 health, not bad. Armor's going up, she's gaining like 10 armor almost, like 8, 9, 8, pretty good. And I think the biggest change is her R is going from 8 seconds to 5 seconds, so you could get it up earlier, late game. It might not seem like a lot, but it was really annoying where her ult could always instantly come back online to where now it had a cooldown. Granted, the ult itself is, I think, 3 seconds. So no matter what, you can't use it for 3 seconds because you're casting it, either 3 or 2.5. But making it shorter, making it being able to be used quicker is good. I honestly just think it should go back to what it was and have no cooldown in general. Like, what's the point of this? But hey, I mean, a buff is a buff, and the closer we get to the ideal, which is what I just said, no cooldown, the better it is. Seraphine. I think Seraphine kind of sucks. I think she still scales like an animal, it's just her laning sucks, and she really has to wait till late game. And if she doesn't land a good ulti, she's kind of useless. Well, not really. She's not that useless, but she really is dependent on the ult. But I don't think she's too bad. I honestly don't know what they're going to buff on her aside from maybe damage costs. Or, not damage costs, damage numbers. Seraphine's been enjoying the mid lane limelight. Okay, so from Seraphine's release, they've always been saying this. They've wanted her to be a mid laner. And they kept buffing her and buffing her and buffing her. And surprise, surprise, people kept going her support. Because if you could go mid, you could go support with it. Especially in Seraphine's case, with how much utility she has. But now I guess they're sick of her going mid, so let's see. Excuse me. It's clear that players want to share her stage in bot lane. I think they only want to play her in bot lane. I don't think Seraphine should be a mid laner at all. I don't even think she should have been added to the game, but that's just me. We're introducing some buffs to her support kit without turning the volume up too high on her solo performances in mid. So what are they doing? Mana costs her down. This helps her in mid, but it's for the W, so it doesn't really help her in mid that much. The cooldown is higher, but lower later, so that's fine. Shield is lower. In total, ally shield is kind of higher. Allies use the same shield amount as Seraphine. Healing. Okay, honestly, I don't know what the point of them buffing, or I don't even know if this is a buff to the W, honestly. I guess it scales decently better by not building as much AP, so it is better for support. But I never really knew Seraphine to be like a great healer in general, so I think this is whatever. And then the cooldown of E is going down early by 2 seconds. Honestly, I don't think people should play Seraphine. I don't think she's good enough in the early game. I think she just gets trashed. But, I mean, hey, okay changes. Xin Zhao. I think Xin Zhao kinda is whatever. He's an early game jungler. That's really all he is. Late game, he turns into a pseudo tank, because he could just block abilities if you're out of his circle, and he can tank really well in that little amount of time, and a little bit after, but you kind of forget about him. He wasn't the animal he used to be. I feel like Xin Zhao used to be more damage dealing and more unkillable. But now he's just kind of more unkillable, but after that you don't really care about him unless you're the AD. So we're probably going to see buffs to him, hopefully. Xin is a staple in pro play. Okay, so nerfs. In part due to consistent and reliable engage on Z combined with the safety of his R. We're targeting some of that engaged power while also ensuring his ultimate doesn't provide him with too much of the safety net. No way. So the E cooldown is going up by 1 second, no one cares. And the R invulnerability duration is going down by 1 second, which is actually pretty fucking big. 5 to 4 seconds, especially on Xin Zhao's ult, that sucks. They should really have something to encourage Xin Zhao to be more aggressive, which I think should be like, oh, if you hit people with your Q autos, it extends the duration of the ulti by like a little bit. I think that'd be cool, but that's just me. But yeah, I think the biggest nerf is to his ult. Everything else doesn't really matter, but whatever. So Hullbreaker, apparently this is an issue. I have no clue why. I have no clue who even uses this. I haven't played League like that much because now there's no pass. So they're nerfing it for range. Let's see why. Ranged Hullbreaker users have been taking over top lane, so we're decreasing its benefits. I wish they would cite sources, like who's doing this. Hullbreaker should still feel like an option for ranged champions, but without overshadowing melees. Bonus armor and magic resist, it's basically halved for range. They always do this shit. Siege and super minion bonus is half for range. Okay. I mean, it's still okay. I think they should have done it 75%, but whatever. Hullbreaker is not as good as ranged. Okay, VFX update. Elise is prettier. Oh, okay, let's read this. So, Mythic content overhaul, which I've read about already, begins next patch. 12.5 is your last chance to spend your 2020 prestige points, which we've already done. Unlike gemstones, prestige points won't convert over. Use them now if you've got them, which I have. Also mentioned last patch, once 12.5 releases, you'll no longer be able to claim OG ownership of 2018 and 2019 prestige skins by obtaining them from loot drops or rerolls. Even though you can, because they're not rerolling the loot tables for the previous orbs, which I have a bunch of, so I'm good. The skins will still appear in drops and rerolls during 12.5, but only those who earned them pre-12.5 will receive a special version of these skins. Damn it, so I'm not getting those. Prestige and gemstone skins will be removed from the loot drops and rerolls when the Mythic content overhaul begins. But like I said, this isn't entirely true because they're still going to be in the old orbs and chests that you've already had because they're not rerolling the loot table for those. So they're kind of lying here. But for those of you who don't know, the Mythic content overhaul is basically them getting rid of gemstones and combining it, and prestige points, I believe, and combining it all into one currency that you can now get with their new events, which now is a battle pass, basically. And it's basically supposed to be better and have better, unique, exclusive prestige skins and gemstone skins and everything in general. And it's on a rotating basis now. If that doesn't make sense, read it yourself or look back at when I talked about it before, which I don't think you can actually because I didn't make its own standalone video. But it's pretty simple, so I would just say read up on it. We don't have time to read it. Failure class, no one cares. Personalization. I thought this would be out during preseason. It wasn't. I thought this would be out at the start of the season. It wasn't. And it's still not out in full effect because we don't have the titles or whatever the fuck they were promising. But leave it to Riot to not give us what we thought we were getting. At least on time. Fill but not support. Based on your feedback, an updated look for ranked borders will be hitting the loading screen. In addition, ranked divisions will be visible in-game lobbies, hover cards, loading screens, and profiles. No one cares. Cool. Bug fixes, no one cares. Alright, let's go over the skins. So, B-Ziggs, pretty good skin. Heimer Stinger, I think the worst skin of them all, but the stupidest, and stupidest in a good way. But definitely the weakest of them all. Orbiana, I think, is really fucking cute. I love Orbiana because I love the way the bees are. In all these skins, the bees are so fucking cute. Like, B-Ziggs is holding the cute little bees. Heimerdinger is, like, riding one on the ass. Orbiana is being controlled by, like, a queen bee, I think. It's so cute. And the best skin of the bunch is, I think, Nunu and B-Lump. The names alone are really good, but the effects and just how, you know, Nunu looks, and not Nunu, I mean B-Lump, how B-Lump looks, and the name alone, I mean, come on. It's so good. It's so fucking good. These skins are stupid, but they're stupid good. B-Lump is the best. Heimer Stinger is the worst. But not bad. So overall, this was a quick patch notes. I like that they buffed Samira. They nerfed Ari and Gwen, which was whatever. Honestly, the biggest change is the Master EQ. And because it was quick and they didn't really include too many nonsense changes, which is weird, for a whole month with this patch and it not having a lot of changes, I'm actually surprised. Overall, I'm actually going to give this patch a 7.5 out of 10. I actually think it was okay. I actually think it was pretty decent. They didn't do too much to ADs, but they didn't really nerf any, at least as long as I'm remembering correctly. So overall, really good patch, 7.5 out of 10 Marc merrills. So for those of you on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed. For those of you on stream, sit tight. I'll be right back. Hope you guys enjoyed. I don't want to go to work.